On a scorching hot day, Uncle Gaber went out alone to buy a sheep for Eid. The market was packed, as usual, shouting, bargaining, and everyone rushing to finish early. Uncle Gaber walked through the crowd, scanning for a suitable sheep at an affordable price. Nothing really caught his eye until he noticed something strange in a narrow side alley. From a distance, he spotted a sheep standing completely still, like a statue. The place itself was eerily quiet, unlike the chaos surrounding it. As he walked to the end of the alley, he found a strange man standing next to the sheep. He wore a faded black robe. His skin was pale, almost lifeless, and his eyes stared blankly into space, not at people. Uncle Gaber hesitantly asked about the sheep's price. The man gave a faint smile and replied in a low voice, "Half the usual price, but on the day of sacrifice, never look it in the eye." Uncle Gaber chuckled to himself. What's a sheep going to do if I look it in the eye? He handed the man the money, feeling like he just scored the deal of a lifetime. As he pulled the rope to take the sheep, he didn't resist at all, but something felt off. For a moment it seemed like the sheep understood, like it wasn't just an animal being led, but a creature that knew exactly where it was going, and it was keeping a secret. The street Uncle Gaber lived on was crowded and full of life, kids running, neighbors shouting from balconies. He walked quietly, dragging the sheep behind him, which followed without a sound. When he reached his building, he pulled the rope to enter. The sheep didn't refuse, but stood still, like it was thinking, staring inside as if making a decision. In the living room, the kids gathered around it. No noise, no play, just still, intense stares. The sheep stood silently in the center, its face unmoving. The kids sat around it, not like they were watching an animal, but like they were in the presence of something else. Later that night, Uncle Gaber lay in bed. His back ached from the heat, and sweat poured down his face, but he couldn't sleep. Something felt wrong in the house, but he couldn't explain it. Suddenly, a loud crash light, a bomb, shook the house. He ran out of the room and into the living room, shocked by what he saw. The ceiling was cracked, the walls broken. An eerie silence filled the air. He turned his head and saw a huge shadow on the wall, not human. It had horns, its movements unnatural, and its face seemed to melt. Then, the shadow stopped as if it sensed Uncle Gaber. The creature started moving toward him in a twisted way, and before he could process what he was seeing, it appeared right in front of him. It was the sheep, but not the same one. It had transformed. Its face was horrifying, grotesque, unrecognizable. Its mouth was gone. Its wool was torn. Its skin cracked with strange symbols drawn across it. Its glowing red eyes locked onto him. A creepy, unnatural smile appeared on its face, and thick drool dripped from its mouth. It stared for a few seconds, then suddenly lunged at him. Uncle Gaber woke up screaming, gasping for air, as if drowning. He looked around to make sure he was in his bedroom, in the real world. But the moment didn't last. He looked at the door and saw it was open. He clearly remembered closing it. The light from the living room felt wrong, like someone was hiding behind the door. He got up and walked out to check. Same living room, same place from the dream. And the sheep was still there, standing in the same spot, not moving. What froze him in place was the rope. It was untied and lying on the floor. How had the sheep freed itself? He stood silently, speechless, unable to tell if this was still a dream or something real. The dawn call to prayer echoed through the neighborhood. People were preparing for the sacrifice, the radio blaring chants, kitchens buzzing with activity. Uncle Gaber stood alone, washing the knives. The water trickled weakly, and the clinking of knives echoed off the sink. He returned to the living room. The sheep was still there, like time hadn't moved since yesterday. He walked toward it, holding the knife. The sheep stared at him. He tried to lift his hand, but suddenly, his muscles froze. His hand wouldn't move. The knife wouldn't rise. The sheep looked at him, its stare cold, meaningless, yet full of awareness. Uncle Gaber's legs began to shake. He collapsed, paralyzed, knife in hand. Then, a faint smile appeared on the sheep's face. Not a normal smile, one of understanding. Of intense saliva started dripping from its mouth. Its body began to change. Within seconds, the sheep transformed into a terrifying creature, and with a chilling scream, the whole house heard it. The family rushed in. They found Uncle Gaber on the floor, the knife far from him, his eyes still wide open. He was dead. Doctors said it was a sudden heart attack, but no one in the family could explain why he was holding a knife, or why there wasn't a single mark on his body. No signs of struggle, no scratches, and the sheep, gone. The rope lay on the floor just like before, but no sheep in sight. An old neighbor later said he once heard a legend about a creature that takes the form of a sacrificial sheep, a curse passed down through generations. A creature that doesn't get sacrificed, it chooses who gets to sacrifice it. As for the mysterious vendor, many said they'd seen him in different markets, in other neighborhoods, always wearing the same black robe and faint smile. And each time he had a new sheep, and each time he vanished before anyone could ask him who he was.